Okay, so we're listening to a video on the American National Anthem. The Star-Spangled Banner is the name of the song, of the poem and the anthem. And the questions are: who wrote it? Why did he write it? When did he write it? What inspired this man to write this poem that later became the American National Anthem? So let's go.
The Star-Spangled Banner is the national anthem of the United States of America. This familiar song has a long and interesting history dating back more than 200 years to September of 1814. The new United States of America, barely more than 20 years old, was at war once more with Great Britain, in a war called simply the War of 1812. War had been raging for more than a year and a half when a young American lawyer named Francis Scott Key was sent to a British ship, the HMS Minden, to negotiate the release of some American prisoners. The negotiations took a long time, and because Key had heard the British planning an attack on Baltimore, Maryland, they wouldn't let him go until after the battle.
Okay, is it very fast, or can you understand the story so far?
It's okay, I think.
Ricardo, how is that for you? Is it too fast, or? It's difficult. It's a lot of information. So what information did you understand so far? What was happening? What was the year? Who is this young lawyer? What was he doing on the ship, on the British ship? Why did he go to a British ship during the war? What did you understand?
The year was 1814.
Yes,
That's it.
September 1814.
correct.
Yeah. And the writer was the Francis Scott Key. That's it.
A young lawyer, a young American
Yeah.
lawyer.
Yeah. And he wanted to release. It's correct. An American guy that was with the British.
Yeah, you call those people, those prisoners who are taken from one side to be kept prisoner from the other side to service negotiation. Like now in Gaza, there are some Israeli people in that situation. How do you call those people? Reféns, hostages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he went to the ship to negotiate the release of some hostages. So the British would release some hostages, yeah? Okay. Yeah. And Ricardo, Mariana, did you understand any other details about this?
When he went to the US, right?
Who went to the US?
The guy from Britain.
It was the British Army. Yeah, the British Army. The guy who was an American guy who went onto the British ship. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then he heard about an attack. No, the other people heard about, and then he wasn't released until something ended.
Yes, exactly. So let's listen to this part again, because there's a lot of information. Let's try to get some more.
It's just so many details I forget.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep track. So let's listen again. With subtitles, or would you like this time with subtitles, or again one more time without subtitles? How do you prefer, Ricardo?
With subtitles.
With subtitles, you can get more information. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see.
The Star-Spangled Banner is the national anthem of the United States of America. This familiar song has a long and interesting history dating back more than 200 years to September of 1814. The new United States of America, barely more than 20 years old, was at war once more with Great Britain, in a war called simply the War of 1812. War had been raging for more than a year and a half when a young American lawyer named Francis Scott Key was sent to a British ship, the HMS Minden, to negotiate the release of some American prisoners. The negotiations took a long time, and because Key had heard the British planning an attack on Baltimore, Maryland, they wouldn't let him go until after the battle.
Yeah. Did it make more sense, the details of the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did this guy write this poem? What happened with the American flag during that battle that inspired him to write this poem? So that's what we're going to hear now. Any more details that you got, or anything else you'd like to talk about this first part?
No.
So let's see what happened after he was kept on the ship while the battle was raging on land, and he couldn't go back because he knew some things that the British didn't want him to share with the Americans what he knew because he was on the British ship. So they kept him until the battle was finished. So let's see.
Baltimore, Maryland, they wouldn't let him go until after the battle. On September 13, 1814, the British attacked Fort McHenry as Francis Scott Key watched anxiously from a ship a few miles away. The battle was so fierce that Key was worried that the British would win. As the sun set, the sky turned red, giving a last glimpse of the American flag as the battle continued into the darkness. The fight raged on all through the rainy night, but once the rockets' red glare and bombs bursting in air stopped, Francis Scott Key could no longer see which flag was flying above the fort. It wasn't until morning, as the early light of dawn revealed the aftermath, that he could see that the American flag still flew, meaning that they had not been defeated.
Okay, so what happened during the night?
There was an attack,
Yeah.
and then at night, at some point, he couldn't see the flag that was on land anymore. So he didn't know if America in the United States was defeated or not. And then only in the morning he could see the American flag again.
Was still flying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Natalia, Ricardo, that you understood from this part? Or any questions?
I don't think so. There's a lot of information. So.
I'm sorry, Natalia, I think your sound is a little low. I couldn't hear. Could you repeat?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of information, but
A lot of information.
yeah, I understand basic what Mari said.
Yeah, basically that's it. There are a lot of details, right? So let's
Yeah.
listen one more time with subtitles to this part. Yeah. Get some more vocabulary. Yeah.
The negotiations took a long time, and because Key had heard the British planning an attack on Baltimore, Maryland, they wouldn't let him go until after the battle. On September 13, 1814, the British attacked Fort McHenry as Francis Scott Key watched anxiously from a ship a few miles away. The battle was so fierce that Key was worried that the British would win. As the sun set, the sky turned red, giving a last glimpse of the American flag as the battle continued into the darkness. The fight raged on all through the rainy night, but once the rockets' red glare and bombs bursting in air stopped, Francis Scott Key could no longer see which flag was flying above the fort. It wasn't until morning, as the early light of dawn revealed the aftermath, that he could see that the American flag still flew, meaning that they had not been defeated.
Any more information that you understood, or any vocabulary that you have questions about?
Fierce.
Fierce is violent. Fierce battle.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Fierce battle. Yeah. Anything else? The vocabulary is not that difficult, I think, in this video.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see the end of the story. What happened?
I had that difficult to understand because she talks very, very fast.
Very fast, yes. And with a lot of details, a lot of information. It's difficult to remember everything. Yeah. Eita, peraí. Wait a minute. I have to remove the subtitles. Okay. So let's see the end of the story. Do you have any idea already what inspired him to write the Star-Spangled Banner? The poem? The fact that we'll look at the lyrics of the anthem, and you can understand what's the connection with this battle, and the fact that he was watching it all through the night, very anxiously waiting to see the result, the aftermath. That's another word that they use, the aftermath of the battle. The aftermath is the result. So he was waiting to find out if America had been defeated. If it had been defeated, the British flag would be flying over the fort. So he was waiting for that signal, that sign of the result. And so that's what inspired him. So let's see, let's hear.
Key was so inspired that the next day he wrote a poem on the back of a letter he had in his pocket. And on September 16th, he was released in Baltimore, where he completed his poem. It was originally titled Defense of Fort McHenry and was printed in newspapers from Georgia to New Hampshire. The poem was set to music, and various versions became popular, but it wasn't until 1889 that the song was first adopted for official use by the Navy. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson ordered that the Star-Spangled Banner should be played at military occasions, and President Herbert Hoover signed the bill that officially adopted it as the national anthem on March 4th, 1931. Although the song has 4 verses, most Americans today are only familiar with the first verse of the Star-Spangled Banner, which is sung everywhere from baseball games to firework displays and 4th of July celebrations. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Star-Spangled Banner. Goodbye till next time.
Okay, so Ricardo, what did you understand about the end of the story? After the young lawyer was released 2 days later?
I didn't understand almost nothing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very fast.
Yeah, I pay attention with the history, but I pick some informations with the presidents, the dates.
Yes.
I didn't understand
The complete story. What did you understand, Ricardo? What information did you get?
I get the almost nothing.
The presidents, etc. Okay.
I think with subtitle is better for me in this moment.
Yeah. Okay. And Mari, Natalia, a few things you understood, a few questions of vocabulary, maybe?
I understand that he started to write the poem at the ship, and when he got released,
He was released.
yeah, was released, and the poem was published in a journal.
In newspapers, yeah.
Newspapers, yes. But it took a while until was considered the American, the U.S. anthem.
Later, yeah. In 1931, it was officially determined as the national anthem. Okay, so let's watch it with subtitles. I don't know what happened here. Now it's weird. I can't. Let me see. Okay, let me put the subtitles so you can understand more. Do you think this is an interesting story, how this national anthem came to be, the inspiration? I think it's a true story. It is a historical event, okay? It's not a legend. It is true. It is inspirational, I think. I don't know the history of our national anthem. I don't know what inspired it, or it was just somebody who got paid to write it. when I don't know anything about. I know it's como é que é o nome do cara? Duque Estrada, né? Não sei o que, Duque Estrada is the name of the composer of our national anthem, but I don't know anything else about it. The Marseillaise, I know the history too, and this is the American. But anyway, so let's watch the end, and then you tell me if you think it's an interesting, inspirational story or not.
The American flag still flew, meaning that they had not been defeated. Key was so inspired that the next day he wrote a poem on the back of a letter he had in his pocket, and on September 16th, he was released in Baltimore, where he completed his poem. It was originally titled Defense of Fort McHenry, and was printed in newspapers from Georgia to New Hampshire. The poem was set to music, and various versions became popular, but it wasn't until 1889 that the song was first adopted for official use by the Navy. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson ordered that the Star-Spangled Banner should be played at military occasions, and President Herbert Hoover signed the bill that officially adopted it as the national anthem on March 4th, 1931. Although the song has 4 verses, most Americans today are only familiar with the first verse of the Star-Spangled Banner, which is sung everywhere from baseball games to firework displays and 4th of July celebrations. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Star-Spangled Banner. Goodbye till next time.
So, Ricardo, what did you understand now about the aftermath of the battle, the writing of the poem, and what else did you understand?
I understand this poem was adapted to a music and had a lot of versions until became a popular song and official anthem in 1931
Yes,
March.
exactly. Yes, exactly. So it had a long history until it became the national anthem, the official national anthem. First, it was a military music that played only at military occasions, etc. Yeah.
And the inspiration was the fort. The defense of the forts.
Yes,
the defense of the fort.
Yeah, exactly. This history.
In Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That's where this battle happened. Yeah. Natalia, Mariana, Ricardo, any questions about vocabulary? Any words that called your attention? Or any more information you understood from the history?
I don't think so.
Mari?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. And what do you think about this? Do you think it's a true story? Do you think it's a legend just created to inspire patriotism in the American people?
I think it's a true. It's a true story.
It sounds very credible. It sounds credible. It's very inspirational. Definitely. It is inspirational. Of course, they probably embellished the story, I guess. There's some embellishment to the story, but the story sounds real. Yeah. Okay. The lyrics. Would you like to read the lyrics or listen and read, or just read without the music? What do you prefer? We can listen and read and stop and understand the lyrics, the 4 verses. It's 4 verses, not very long. Or we can just read without the music. You know the music. What do you think you prefer? Or it doesn't matter?
I would read. I don't know. What do you think, Karen? Do you want to listen?
It's better, I think, listen and understand some phrases, each phrase.
Yeah, okay. So okay, yeah, we can listen and stop after each verse, and then we understand what they're talking about. Now that we know the history, we can understand a little bit better how it I think it's a beautiful anthem. It's not very military, it's very inspirational, but it's not always a very beautiful way to. Lady Gaga sings it. Maybe we can watch it with Lady Gaga. I don't know if it's a good idea. Let me see. Let's see if we have. I don't know if we have the lyrics here with Lady Gaga. Let's see.
A gente tem uma super novidade para te contar. A família Mata cresceu. Depois de um ano pesquisando.
The subtitles are very small. Let me make them bigger. Right, here. 50% is very small. Okay. So let's listen to Lady Gaga.
Ladies and gentlemen, here for the singing of our national anthem, accompanied by the President's own United States Marine Band, please welcome Lady Gaga.
Oh my God, look at that. That was during the pandemic. There's no subtitles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. Well, we can just listen to the first verse with Lady Gaga and then we go to somebody else with subtitles.
Okay.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Did you hear anything that you connected to the history, to the fight, to the battle? Did you hear in the lyrics anything that you understood from the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very clear that they're talking about that moment. So let's hear now with it's probably not as beautiful as Lady Gaga, but at least we can read it. So this is the first verse. Any questions about this?
Gleaming. What is
Okay.
gleaming?
So it's, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Is this okay? The dawn is okay? The dawn is the sunrise, right? When the sun comes up. What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming. Hailed is, how do you translate hailed? Yeah, they're talking about the flag. What so proudly we hailed is what we held or what we hold so proudly. They're talking about the flag. At the twilight's last gleaming. So we hailed the flag Do you understand this? At the twilight's last gleaming? What's the twilight? The twilight?
Yeah.
Sunset.
Yeah, it's the sunset, right? So it started with the dawn, and
Yes.
now at the twilight's last gleaming, it was before the night, right? The sun set, so that he could still see the flag before the lights finished, before the sun went completely down. Twilight, na verdade, é o crepúsculo, right? So it's not, yeah. So it's that moment when the lights are going into darkness, and they could still see the flag. Okay, so that's the first verse. Second verse. Okay, so the second verse. Whose broad stripes and bright stars? Is that okay? Through the perilous fight.
Perilous.
Dangerous.
Okay.
Perigosa, né? This word comes from Latin, perilous. English is interesting. Many words have two synonyms. One comes from Latin that we can recognize, perilous, and one is dangerous, which is from Germanic languages. English is a mixture of Latin, French, and Germanic languages. So you have lots of synonyms from different origins. It's interesting. Usually the Latin words are more poetic, are more literary, are more sophisticated. So here he uses perilous, is more beautiful than dangerous. Okay. Over the ramparts we watched. Ramparts is the part of the ship where he was watching the battle from the ship. Yeah. So over the ramparts we watched, or the ramparts is the wall of the fort. I think it's the wall of the fort. Something like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna look it up. These are old words, but okay, so now the second verse is okay, you understand? So it's him watching the fight, the sun going down, the flag, and yeah. So let's see the third verse. This is still part of the second verse. So the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. So the stripes and the stars were still shining going into darkness, but we could still see them gallantly. Yeah, galantemente, gallantly. So the flag was still there, the stars and the stripes. And third verse. Okay, third verse.
Eu me arrepiei agora.
É bonito, it is inspirational. It is a beautiful anthem and a beautiful history. If it's not true, como dizem em italiano, se non è vero, è bene contata, è bene... Se non è vero, è bene... Como é que é em italiano? Se não é verdade, é muito bem contada.
Bem contado.
Okay, and the rocket's red glare. The rockets, you
Very
understand,
good
right?
liar.
Sorry, Ricardo.
It's a very good liar.
Very good lie. Yeah, it's a good lie. If it's a lie, it's a good lie. Yeah. And the rockets, red glare. The rockets são os foguetes, né? The lights that he was seeing in the dark, in the night. Glare is that light, that red light that you see in fire, that you see in rockets. It's a red glare. Is that kind of light? And bombs bursting in air. He's talking about the bombs and the rockets. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Okay, the third verse. And now the fourth verse. beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so fourth verse, he goes, oh, say, he's talking to himself, right? Oh my God, is the flag still there in the morning when the light come up?
No.
Is it, which flag is there? Which flag? Which flag? So oh, say is him talking to himself. Tell me, something like, tell me, what's happening? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Is that flag still waving, still flying? Over the land of the free and the home of the brave. Of course, these two sentences, the land of the free and the home of the brave, are still used today to inspire patriotism in the American people when they have to go to war. And they call America still today the land of the free. At this time, the land of the free meant, at that time, during the battle, it was because they were fighting for freedom from England. So it was, if they won that battle, it was one more step towards becoming a land of the free, a free land. But today they use the land of the free in terms of values. Do you know? Have you ever heard that expression? That America is the land of the free. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
It's in contrast to
Yeah.
communism during the Cold War, right? Communism was a restricted country. The Soviet Union was restricted, censorship, blah, blah, blah. America, ideally, even though not in reality completely, was the land of the free. At least there was a free press, there was some free expression. And of course, there were horrible things going on in America too, but they called it the
American
land.
dream.
I'm sorry?
American dream is
Yeah.
land of the free.
Exactly, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Any
Yeah.
questions about this or comments about the American National Anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner?
Why the interrogation
Interrogative, yeah, or the interrogation mark, the question mark.
in the end of,
Yeah,
why this interrogative point in the end of the phrase?
because the whole verse is a question. Let's look at the beginning of the verse.
Okay.
Oh, say, does that. So he's beginning with a question.
Okay.
Okay, does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave? He's asking himself, look,
Yes.
it's still dark.
Yes.
The lights are coming. Is it still flying? It's a question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing that's interesting in this, in terms of English, why does he say the free? In Portuguese would be os livres, a terra dos homens livres, and the brave, os homens corajosos, os corajosos. Why does he use the singular? Why does in English we say the free, the brave to talk about a group of people? We use a singular to talk about many people. Do you know how to use this? It's very common in English still today to say the poor, the rich. The poor in Brazilian government doesn't worry about the poor. In the United States, the rich or the mega rich or the super rich are, it's plural, the rich are, I don't know, whatever, or the rich have a much better life, have an unequal life in relation to the poor. Do you know how to use this? To use the singular to talk about plural?
No.
Have you ever seen this? The rich, the poor, the beautiful.
I never noticed before.
Yeah. The Japanese, os japoneses, the Japanese, the British, os britânicos, the French, os franceses. They use it a lot, even today. And it's usually adjetivo, the brave, the free, the poor, the rich. So it's always an adjective. For example, the French, what can you say about it? É usado para fazer meio generalizações, né? You're generalizing. So you can say the French are, or the French are famous for their cooking. For example, you can say that. The French are famous for their cooking. There are two soap operas, duas novelas in the United States that use this. One of them, they're very famous soap operas in the afternoon on American television. One of them is The Young and the Restless. The Young and the Restless. And the other is The Bold and the Beautiful. These are very popular TV shows in the afternoon on American television, using this. Do you understand these two titles? The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful? Yeah. Os jovens e os inquietos, e os ousados e os belos, for example, something like that. So you can use it a lot. You can see it a lot. Okay, finished. Oh my God, we have to go. So next class on Friday, we'll go back to Venezuela and Guyana and finish and go specifically about the environment, talking about this whole situation, but mostly the environmental issue concerning that conflict and the economic situation of Guyana right now, economic and military, politics, everything. Okay, guys.
Okay.
See you on Friday.
See you on Friday. Have a good week.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, people.
Bye, Ricardo.